Hello, everyone. I am Dallin, the Dungeon Master for the War of Two Suns campaign. Unfortunately, we lost footage and recordings of Session 29. We were dealing with some technical issues and couldn't recover the voice logs or video backups, so I will be giving a short narrative description of what happened. This was also an important point where our guest player, Jyinxx, a kobold bard played by Kirov, departed from the group. She sends her regards and gave a wonderful farewell to the party during that time. A lot did occur during the session, so I will be very brief on the details during the summary. Days have passed after the funeral of Baron Vermont. Tobias, his nephew, gave up control of his land to Lady Wandella in hopes of someone protecting his borders from the invading Ironman Kingdom. Karmic Village was now under the control of the elven forces of the Tri-Alliance. The local watch of the Highlanders were disbanded, and their official members, led by Fargarth Ophelius, were packing up to return to their base up north. Sylvia herself remained at the manor with Trevor to discuss important issues with her aunt after dealing with a drow assassin. The rest of the party stayed at the local tavern. Nora was working on blueprints to fix up the old wagon they pulled from the mountain passage. The dwarf mercenaries they encountered insisted on aiding her, as they were bound to help a fellow dwarf in need. Mira kept herself hidden in the room, avoiding to be detected by visiting elf guards. She was worried about Niram, who left without saying anything at all at the local shrine. Jyinxx was performing to help earn some money and food. She gained renown as the first singing and dancing kobold. The rumors she learned by the locals were troubling, as they were planning a blockade from the east. The majority traveling merchants planned to depart shortly after, heading back west through the mountain passage. Satana was no longer bearing her former troop insignia and wearing old armor instead to blend in. After learning about the Baron not sending the missive to Tri-Kingdom, leaving more questions unanswered, she convinced the others to take the same trail as the merchants and find a way around, heading further south the border into the countryside. On their last day at the tavern, the group decided to prepare before even more elven forces came into the village. Jyinxx returned the stolen pendant to one of the traveling merchants, which was taken by the bucket bandits. He rewarded her with recommendation for the local merchants guild and password to the secret caravan tunnels. Olmec brought back some pastries from the local bakery as rations, while Edgar went to Orville's magic shop to return the mummified finger given to them as a rental. Nora was almost ready to complete the wagon kept at the local serf's house. When she arrived, the dwarf mercenaries have already completed it for her. They stood up all night with their blueprints and even offered their service to protect them as bodyguards. She was grateful to them and took up on their offer. They decided to take Sylvia's horse to pull the cart back to the tavern, where Mira woke up soon after that morning, suffering from her wild magic, with a face full of bird feathers. This odd effect, however, helped with her disguise with a cloak, so no one would be able to recognize her from a close distance. Trevor arrived to speak with her about Sylvia's plan. They were to meet at the passage west near the snowy trail, where Sylvia would soon meet up with them shortly. Mira took this opportunity to share her honest feelings to Trevor and congratulate them on their engagement before stepping outside the tavern. This left Trevor quite puzzled when Mira mentioned he was the ideal guy. But time was the essence, and Trevor rushed back to inform Sylvia, while everyone returned to climb on the new and reinforced wagon. When the group reached the edge of Karmic Village, after a few merchant carts passed them hours later, Trevor and Sylvia arrived to give them instructions to head for a village called Pilgrim's Passage. It was considered deep in neutral territory within the mountain valley. However, Felix and Simisham decide to stay behind. Felix wanted to work with Mages Association to spread the news of what has happened, as Simisham hoped to return home by the assistance of Orville, if it was even possible. They left with tearful goodbyes and hopes to see each other again. The dwarf mercenaries introduced themselves officially to the party. Thurston of the Jagged Cliff was their official leader, with Conan Greyhammer as their marksman and second in command. The third and happy-go-lucky drunken brewmaster, Ergen Fiddlewick, was glad to be heading back, hoping to sell his fiery dwarven ale. Zatanna asked them if she could count on their services, as Thurston gave his word. Nora took the reins of her new battle wagon, and the party set off on their journey with the new dwarf allies. Mira made sure to blow on the whistle given to her by Nero, hoping he would hear it one more time so he will know. But the snow began to fall not too far from the path, where Nero was facing off in a battle against the cultists pursuing her. Mystica, a tiefling rogue, and two more cultists by her side stood before him. As an illusion of their leader, a dark purple-skinned tiefling, standing before him as an illusion stating that it was inevitable and that they will find Mira. Nero was covered in blood and cuts all over his arms and sides, with 5 slain cultists in the snow. Nero drew up his draconic blade, swearing they would never get the chance. He charged in, swinging his sword, with a battle cry echoing in the cold day sky. End scene.